All right, let's talk about something that could be a huge deal for you if you're an independent musician in the US. It's called the HITS Act, and if you have any plans to get into a recording studio anytime soon, you are absolutely going to want to know what this is. So let's dive right in.
We've all been there, right? You pour your heart and soul into a project. It's finally done. It sounds incredible. And then the final bill from the studio lands in your inbox. And you just get that pit in your stomach. That feeling? That's exactly why we're talking about this today.
Yeah, that feeling has a name. We can call it the indie cash crunch. You know, most artists don't stop making music because they're not talented. They stop because cash flow just grinds everything to a halt. You're spending a whole bunch of money right now on the hope that you'll make it back later. And the tax system, well, it hasn't always been your friend on that front.
And this slide right here shows you the problem perfectly. See, before this act, you'd pay for your whole album up front, but the IRS would say, nope, you have to deduct those costs little by little, over a few years. The HITS Act completely changes the game. Now, you pay for it, and you can deduct it right away, in the same year. And for your cash flow, that is a massive, massive difference.
So the best way to think about this law is as a tool. It's a specific tool for your taxes. And like any tool in your workshop, it's not magic, but when you know exactly how to use it, man, it can be really, really effective.
So here it is, the official definition. The HITS Act stands for Help Independent Tracks Succeed Act. And what it does is pretty simple at its core. It lets you, the creator, deduct your recording production costs in the same year you pay for them. And the cap is pretty generous too, up to $150,000.
Okay, now this is probably the most important thing to get straight in your head. This is not free money. The government is not writing you a check to pay for your album. What it is a deduction. It just lowers the amount of your income that's taxable. So it really is a timing tool. It helps you get that tax benefit right when you need it the most, which is usually right after you've spent all the money.
Let's make this real with some easy numbers. Let's say you spend 10 grand on making a record. Without this deduction, maybe your tax bill at the end of the year is $5,000. But with the HITS Act, you get to deduct that $10,000 expense. That lowers your taxable income, and suddenly your tax bill is only $3,000. That's 2 grand that stays in your pocket, money you can use for merch, a music video, or, your next recording project.
Okay, so you see the power of it. But just like any game, you gotta know the rules to play. So let's get into who exactly can use this tool and what specific costs are actually on the table.
This chart right here, this is your cheat sheet. The HITS Act is laser-focused on production costs. Think of it as the money you spend to make the recording exist. So studio time, mixing, mastering, paying your session musicians, all that stuff is a big yes. It's not for promotion. The money you spend to help people hear the recording, like music videos, PR, advertising, or distribution fees. Now those things might be deductible under other tax rules, just not this specific one.
So who gets to play? Well, it's for US-based indie creators. And here's a really critical point. Your music has to be treated as a business, not a hobby. That just means you're actually trying to make money from it. And for all you bands out there, this is where you need to get organized. Whoever actually pays the bills and owns the final master recordings, whether that's one person or the band's LLC, that's who gets to claim the deduction. Getting this clear up front will save you so many headaches.
All right, you need to lean in for this next part because this is probably the most urgent piece of the whole puzzle. This amazing tool, well, it comes with an expiration date. There's a very real deadline you need to know about right now.
As the law is written right now, it only works for recording projects that begin before January 1st, 2026. Let that sink in. That means 2025 is the last full year that we know for sure you can use this. What happens after that? Honestly, nobody knows. Congress might extend it, they might change it, or they might just let it expire. We can't count on anything.
So, the most important word in that whole sentence is start. Your project doesn't have to be finished, it doesn't have to be released, the production work just has to begin before that 2026 deadline. And, this is key, you absolutely have to be able to prove it.
And I love this quote because it sums it up perfectly. You can't just feel like your project started in December of 2025. You need cold, hard proof. We're talking dated invoices from the studio, signed contracts with your producer, proof of payment to your session players. Without that paper trail, the deduction is just a nice idea.
So, knowing all of this, the opportunity and the deadline, how do you actually put this tool to work? Let's break down the simple, actionable things you can start doing today to get ready. Here's your game plan. It's 4 easy steps. First, for every single recording project, create a dedicated folder. Digital, physical, whatever works for you. Second, track every single production expense and save every receipt. Third, make double sure you have that concrete proof of your project's start date. And finally, number 4, please, if your situation is even a little bit complicated, especially if you're in a band, go talk to a tax pro. It's a small investment that could save you a ton of money and stress.
So there you have it. That's the HitSect. It's a really powerful timing tool, but that window to use it is definitely closing. So the big question I'll leave you with is this. Is your next project ready for 2025? Because the clock is officially ticking.